it's me, Marshmallow, and in this video... Wait, what's happening? Yo, Marsh, have you heard about the new update that's coming? It's actually going to be a breakfast-themed update. I'm actually super excited for it, so why not make a restaurant? Alrighty, so I think I'm going to use the pyramid house because I actually really like the layout of this house, and I think it would perfectly match a restaurant kind of theme. I started the restaurant off by creating an area where people can order food using some basic elements like cylinders, which I call pillars, some rectangles, and some slabs. Then I decided to work on more of the architectural part of this house by adding even more pillars, slabs, and more around the house. I also decided to change some of the wallpapers and flooring, so I would get a better idea of what furniture I would use to decorate this house. I started to work on this area over here, and what I did was that I added some rectangles as well as some pillars to create a unique wall design. And this was also placed because I really didn't feel like decorating that wall that had a diagonal wall beside it, because I'm not really good at decorating walls that are diagonal. Anyway, then I decided to actually start decorating the little kitchen area where employees can prepare food to serve to the customers. And I added a fridge and recolored it to be red so it would match the rest of the architecture. I added one of the machines from the Jelly pack to act like a soft drink machine. And I also decided to add a mushroom oven, and I placed a basic shape beside it to create this unique looking oven. And I also placed another piece of furniture. Then I placed some miscellaneous items to elevate the area even more. I actually also added some plants, a sink, and a string of lights from one of the Christmas updates, so yeah. Then I just added some various rugs around to elevate the design even more. And as I was working on this area, I also created a counter with some computers and some plants around it, so the employees can track various orders and such. Then I split the wall into two different walls using some slabs, and then I decided to work on the wall to the right. And I was wondering what I wanted to do with this area, but I had an idea to create a vending machine. Or at least something that kind of looks like a vending machine, but oh well. Then I decided to work on the first sitting area, which is actually kind of crucial to this house because I feel like it definitely elevated the restaurant design even more. Anyway, what I did was that I added some slabs, and then I also added another slab on top of two slabs, and I colored the slab on top to be red. Sorry if that was a mouthful, by the way. Then I added a Christmas table onto the red slab, as well as some mushroom chairs and some rugs. Then I added some stuff to the walls by adding some basic shapes to create an alternating pattern of some sort leading up to the main slabs on the walls. And I also added some plants beside the wall design. Then I decided to decorate the entrance by adding some miraculous items as well as some plants on top of them to create plant pots which lead up to beautiful plants. I also added some basic shapes to fill up some empty space. Then what I did was that I added some plant designs similar to the ones at the entrance by using the same technique. And then I decided to create two bathrooms. For the first bathroom, I changed the floor to one of the floors from the Olympus house, and then I decided to add some basic shapes to block off some spots that were infiltrated by the first part I was working on during this video. Anyway, then I added some of these wall items to create little bathroom stalls, and then I also added some various bathroom items to finish the stalls. Then I recolored the unique wall design to be red, and then I also started to work on adding some sinks because I feel like a bathroom wouldn't be complete without some sinks. just added some plants, some rugs, and more to finish the first bathroom off. At least for now. Then I decided to add some partitions from one of the lunar furniture packs because I felt like I didn't really know what to do with this empty wall, and I also didn't want to use too much furniture. So that's what I did. Then I started to work on the second bathroom by changing the wallpapers to match the floor that I used in the first bathroom, and then I also added some pillars as well as some more of those red wall items. Then I arranged them in a certain way because there was actually a secret passage if you step onto a part of the floor, so I decided to block that part off because I really did not want any mistakes to happen inside of this restroom. And I also started to lay out where the other stalls were going to be inside of this bathroom. Then I started to work on the second sink by adding some slabs and then adding a red slab on top of the already existing slab. That was another mouthful that I said inside of this video. Anyway, then I added a sink from one of the Easter packs, and I also added some plants beside the sink to make the area feel less empty and more lively. Then I also started to decorate this wall by adding some slabs as well as a window from the Olympus update, and then I also added a Talking Tom statue because honestly I wanted to use that item in some shape or form. Then I decided to work on the first bathroom once again, and I just added some plants to the sinks to improve the bathroom design just a tad bit. Then I decided to decorate the entrances of the bathrooms by adding some various slabs, color coding the different bathrooms, and then I also decided to work on some seating areas for the restaurant. And this was actually one of my favorite parts of decorating this entire restaurant because I felt like it was super satisfying to see how these seating areas would turn out. Anyway, I started the seating areas by adding some slabs to create tables, and then I actually added an already existing table item and I merged them into the slabs to create some tablecloths. Then I added and recolored some chairs to match the vibe, and then I just added some plants because I wanted this whole entire restaurant to feel just a little bit overgrown. Then I added some rugs to fill up the space even more. And then I decided to work on another seating area. And yes, there are a bunch of seating areas inside of this restaurant in total. And I started by adding some basic shapes to make the table feel kind of separate from the rest of the restaurant. And then I decided to add some mushroom chairs as well as some plants to finish the area off. And I almost forgot to mention this, but I did the same technique as I did for the first couple of tables. And I also added some utensils as well as a mushroom table merged into the table. Then I started to decorate what I thought was the hardest part to decorate inside of this whole entire restaurant, which is the storage area, because a restaurant can't be functional without some essential storage. What I did was that I added a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of basic shapes to cover up the remnants of the first couple of tables that I built, like rectangles, pillars, and other basic items that I use often. And this took me a little while because I had to get into the perspective menu to get everything the way that I wanted it to. And then I added some smaller slabs and recolored them to be red to fill up the gap that I accidentally made between the rectangles and the slabs. Then I decided to recolor all of the basic shape to red because I wanted it to match the rest of the restaurant. And then I also adjusted quite a lot of things while building it. Then what I did was that I actually started to decorate the little area by adding some pillars and coloring them to red. And I also added some slabs and I recolored them to the colors that I wanted them to. Or I just left them to its default color because honestly, I really like the color. Then I decided to go into the perspective menu once again, and I decided to create an area for clothes, which are supposed to look like storage for uniforms. And I think I created a decent looking clothing rack for those uniforms. Then I added some basic shapes and some triangular items to create some little boxes to store various things inside. Then I also added some food displays to store various food that doesn't need to be displayed quite yet. Then I added a lot more items, including a bag of flour, a table, as well as some plants to finish the area off. Oh, and I can't forget that I added some basic wall items to elevate the wall design even more because I felt like it was looking a little bit plain. Oh, and I also added these items from the survival season to make the area look overgrown. Then I placed a door there, and I also decided to add a window to one of the walls because I felt like there wasn't enough natural light inside of this house. To finish the interior of this restaurant slash house off, I know I keep saying house, but it's actually a restaurant. I adjusted a couple of things as well as adding some plants. Then I decided to upgrade the exterior of this house because it's looking a little bit ancient right now. Anyway, what I did was that I added some red wallpapers to the rims of the pyramid, and for the other part of the pyramid, I used the shiny silver color. And yeah, here's the exterior of this restaurant. Since I'm finished with building the restaurant, I'm going to give you guys a restaurant tour. First of all, here's the exterior of the house. I actually really like how this turned out because I feel like the wallpapers match the tree that I placed as well as the other items that I put here as well. Now let's head on inside. When you first walk inside the extravagant restaurant, you'll be able to see a couple of areas. Let's go through them in detail. The first area is the place where you can order food, and if we delve deep into the kitchen, we'll be able to see a refrigerator, a soft drink machine, an oven, some fruit, and a bag of flour. You'll also be able to see a sink surrounded by other decorations. If you don't feel like ordering food directly, you can always go to this vending machine where you can buy snacks, and you can also eat these snacks while waiting for your main meal. If you want to exit the restaurant early, or if you're done eating an absolutely amazing meal, you can always exit out of this entrance area. After you're done ordering your meal, or if you just want to sit down, you can come to this extraordinary seating area where you can sit on some mushrooms and enjoy your meal surrounded by some plants, as well as your family, friends, or people that you've recently met. If you don't have a very big group eating with you, you can always go over here to these two tables. And these tables are just smaller versions of the first one that I mentioned earlier. You'll be able to eat some delectable meals here as well. If you walk in front of one of the bathrooms, which we'll get to later, you'll be able to see another big seating area where there are some utensils already placed for you, as well as a whopping 5 chairs that you can sit at. Anyway, now I'll give you a tour of the bathrooms. The first bathroom is spacious and has lots of plants surrounding the sinks, and also the bathroom stalls are perfectly arranged. The second bathroom features a statue of Talking Tom as well as a cozy sink, and the bathroom stalls are also perfectly arranged inside of this restroom. If you walk down the stairs, you'll be welcomed by a slightly overgrown storage area, but that's completely fine because these plants are well maintained. Anyway, we have some storage to store food that isn't quite ready to be displayed yet, and we also have some various boxes which are storing various restaurant necessities. We also have a uniform rack where employees can change into various uniforms during the day. Anyway, that's gonna be all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye!